Hey guys, good Monday morning. Just wanted to check in with you. I just watched a video myself that was done by Dr. Ken Berry, and he's kind of one of the industry enthusiasts on low carb and ketogenic and the carnivore diet. And I found it pretty interesting, so I thought I would share with you guys. I don't claim to have all these thoughts on my own. A lot of things will spur me on to make a video of my own. A lot of times I do have an original thought, believe it or not, but this one was kind of shared by Dr. Berry, and so I wanted to just talk to you about it. But before I get started here, if you'd hit the like and the subscribe button there, the little bell, so that you get a notification anytime I make a video. You guys can share it with your family and friends and anybody that might benefit from it. I would greatly appreciate it. Hopefully I'm making a difference in yours or someone you care about's life with this keto way of life and the ketogenic lifestyle. I greatly appreciate you guys' time. Also, you can check me out on Facebook, Keto Simplicity. I have a page there where I'm sharing recipes all the time and different things, motivational thoughts or other videos from people, and for you guys to be able to watch those. So go ahead and like me over there on Facebook too. Anyways, let's get started on this. So today I'm talking about carbohydrate or sugar addiction. And ways that you can know if you are addicted to sugar or carbohydrates. A lot of people, they have no idea. They just think that, hey, it's a normal part of life to consume sugar or carbohydrates, and they don't realize it's an addiction problem. Big food and big pharma, they don't want us to stop consuming sugar. That's a big industry. The chronic addiction issues that go along with that, diabetes and cholesterol and heart problems and those kinds of things. So they don't want us to correct ourselves and get off of the sugar. Sugar is much like any other drug, like cocaine or something like that, where it elicits a dopamine response. So you may notice, whenever you're getting into your box of ding dongs or Twinkies or whatever, you may feel like that adrenaline rush, like, oh, this is going to be so good, and you're just like fired up to eat that stuff. And that's an addiction issue. That's why you're feeling that way. That's kind of why that happens, is the dopamine response, that you're flooding your system with dopamine because you know that you're going to get that drug. It's much like a heroin addict that when they put on that tourniquet to shoot up, they start to feel that adrenaline rush because they know their body knows what's coming. So that's kind of the way it works. So the signs that you may have a sugar addiction, one is, have you ever hid sugar, or have you ever hid carbohydrates? Like, you got a bag of chips and it's almost gone, and you want to make sure that you get those chips, so you're going to hide it from your kids or your husband or your wife. You want to make sure that you get that last Snickers bar or whatever it is. If you've ever hid it, that's a good sign that that there may be a problem there. Okay, the second one is, have you ever used carbs or sugar to self-soothe? I just broke up with my girlfriend or my boyfriend, or had a rough day at work. I'm just going to go home and have some carbs. I'm going to eat some sugary foods, or I want to have a Coke, or something like that. That also can be a sign that there's a problem there with sugar and the addiction issue there. Third one, have you ever bargained or made a deal with yourself? Oh man, if I can get this project done, I'm gonna go out and have myself a banana split, or I'm gonna get myself one of those cherry dipped cones at Dairy Queen. Guilty, done it. Yes, that is a sign of sugar addiction. So the bargaining or the making a deal with yourself. If you do this, if I get this or get this done, I don't want to mow the yard today. If I do it, I'm going to go and get myself a burger, So yeah, those are signs as well. Have you ever spent too much money on carbs? Like, I got $5 left until payday, but man, I really want to get, this or that. I'm going to go to McDonald's and get 5 things off of the dollar menu. That's a good sign that you've got an issue with the sugar addiction. or the carbohydrate addiction. And carbohydrate and sugar, they're one and the same, right? We all know after watching videos and all this kinds of stuff, doing our research, carbohydrates break down into glucose, which is sugar. So if you chips are sugar, regardless of what you think. It's true. Next one. Have you ever neglected others to eat carbs? You've been late to pick your wife up from work because you wanted to go get a quick snack, or been late to the ball field, taking your kids to the ball field because you just had to eat before you got there. Those are signs that you might have a carbohydrate addiction. Have you ever felt the need to cut back on carbohydrates? You're Easter or something comes around, you're like, man, it's coming up. I know I shouldn't be eating all this sugar, but oh, it's so good. I love those Cadbury cream eggs and those Reese's Pieces and all that kind of stuff. And I use those specifically because that was me, right? That was me. I can relate with your issues because I have had those issues myself. If you know that if you know you should cut back, then that's a definite sign that you may have an addiction issue. Have you ever been told by someone else that you have a problem? Hey, Tim, man, you drink like 8 pops a day. That's kind of a lot. And again, guilty. Yeah, I used to drink probably 8 cans of pop a day. And that was way too much, and it was obviously excessive. And along with that, I was eating out 3 times a day and, eating dessert after every meal. That's just typical for me, going to get 4 king-size candy bars and polishing them all off. It's a sugar addiction, is what it is. That's plain and simple. Have you ever fantasized about your favorite carb? You're at work, right? And you're trying to do so good, you're dieting and, you're eating, whatever diet you're on, and you're thinking about that package of Oreos that are in the cupboard at home. You're thinking, oh man, when I get home, I'm gonna tear into those, fantasizing about stuff like that. Sugar addiction, that's plain and simple all it is. So now let's talk about how to break the addictions. So if you do have these addiction issues, which I'm assuming most of you probably do if you're looking at doing a ketogenic diet for weight loss. If you have these sugar addictions, it's good to know ways to break it up. So first step, knowing you have a problem. It's easier to address a problem if you know that you have a problem. 2, staying full on fats and low carbohydrate foods. That's another good way. It's easier to address the sugar addiction if you are full on fatty carbohydrate, low carbohydrate foods. If you're hungry and trying to address a sugar addiction, it is much, much, much harder. It's almost impossible to fight off that sugar addiction if you're hungry. You go to the grocery store hungry, and what happens? What do you load your cart with? Ice cream, cupcakes. You know what I'm saying? It's much easier on a full stomach to address the sugar addiction. So try and stay full on foods that are appropriate for ketogenic, ketogenic way of eating. Step 3 is you want to clean out your kitchen. Get rid of all the junk. If that stuff is beckoning you, if it's in your cupboard and you're just starting off, it's very difficult to beat that. Now, I have some things in my cupboard that I shouldn't eat, and I don't eat them. They're things that my girls might eat and stuff like that. Bread and those kinds of things, and they don't tempt me. Milk, those kinds of things, which you don't think about, right? Milk has lactose, which is milk sugar, so you shouldn't be consuming milk either. But all kinds of carbohydrates, that you should purge them from your kitchen, and make it easier for yourself to withstand this sugar addiction. The next one is develop new dopamine increasing habits. Things that increase dopamine, walking, jogging, sex. Some people enjoy reading. All those types of things can increase your dopamine and give you that dopamine response so that it makes it easier for your body to withstand those sugar addiction and cravings. So that's the best way to get rid of that. Signs and symptoms of withdrawal from sugar. If you're having sugar withdrawal, agitation, headache, and insomnia, muscle aches, body aches, nausea, vomiting, all those kinds of things can be associated with sugar withdrawal, sugar addiction. So if you're experiencing those, there's a good chance that it's due to your sugar withdrawal. Especially when you're starting out a ketogenic diet and you're purging your system of all the nasty carbohydrate stuff, the glycogen, all that kind of stuff, and then you don't have that in your system anymore, your body's going to go through a withdrawal period, much like it would if you were taking cocaine or something like that, because you're not having that free-flowing dopamine in your system, and so you're going to feel those symptoms coming on. So again, the dopamine is released in response to your pleasure centers. You get the dopamine response, and it causes you to feel good. And so with cocaine, the more you consume, you become desensitized to it. So it takes more and more and more of the drug to elicit the same dopamine response. Much is the same with sugar. It takes more and more to be able to get the same response. But sugar is a little different. Obviously, it's not a narcotic like cocaine, but it is still addictive, and you still will get the addictive tendencies that go along with other things. And the list that I just made, all those I experienced myself. So just be aware of them now. Hopefully this video helps you guys out in making a change in your life, and I hope you appreciate it, because I appreciate you guys watching, and I really enjoy knowing that I'm helping people out there with this. So again, you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button down there with that little bell so that you can get a notification every time I make one of these videos, and I'll talk to you next time.